It has done a great deal to rebuild the schools, although Americans say, well, why are we rebuilding their schools and not our schools? As my colleague explained earlier, what we're doing is going in and painting existing school buildings. But helping the people of Iraq educate their children is a critically important role for America. And again, it helps us to win over their hearts and minds and to do what our colleague from Georgia, Mr. Marshall, said, and that is have the Iraqi people side with us in this struggle and, for example, help our troops find an explosive device that's planted intended to kill an American, and they're the ones that can best help us do that. And education is a key part of that. To discuss that issue, let me turn to our colleague from Illinois, Mr. Kirk.
I thank my colleague from Arizona. People have asked me what the trend is in Iraq, for better or for worse. I just returned from Iraq, and the trend is for the better. The last time I was in Iraq, I was in uniform, flying at 20,000 feet, and the Iraqi Air Defense network was shooting at us. That force is now gone. Now that the Allies have won, I think we should follow several key principles. One, the war on terror must be fought overseas and not in America's cities. I come from Chicago, home to America's tallest building. The Sears Tower is still standing, and we want to keep it that way. Second, we must finish the job in Iraq. Otherwise, we condemn a future generation of young Americans to refight this war. If Desert Storm had a key lesson, it is that unfinished work ensures a new Middle East war. I think we should make sure that no future generation of Americans has to fight again, and that's why we need to finish what we're doing in Iraq. Our goals must match the best ideal of Americans, an Iraq that does not invade another member of the UN each decade, an Iraq that governs by the consent of Iraqis, an Iraq that cooperates with the United Nations, not confronting it. These are worthy missions, and if we accept this mission, we must accept that we need to give our troops the jobs or the tools they need to complete this job. This is a difficult job, and let's look at Iraq under Saddam. Life expectancy in Iraq totaled just 58 years. 47% of children did not attend school. Half of Baghdad's phones didn't work. Iraq had the highest infant mortality rate in the Middle East. 70 of 90 city water systems didn't work. Saddam's health budget totaled 75 cents per person per year. And there was only one newspaper, Uday Hussein's newspaper. Under the Allies, now the situation has changed. 90% of Iraqi school kids started class today. Power generation is up 100%, from 1,200 megawatts to 3,700. 5 million school books were delivered, but these school books did not have the anti-U.S., anti-Semitic rhetoric. And now there are several dozen newspapers. I brought them back with me. These are newspapers that did not exist before May 1st, like Azaman, Al-Balad, Ibn al-Mutamar, Al-Shira, and even an English-language newspaper, Iraq Today. When I was in Iraq, I learned that 90% of Western reporters have left Iraq. And for those young reporters who remain, their editors have told them that they're only interested in one story, the injury to Americans. You are not allowed to know about anything else happening in Iraq. But there are many developments in Iraq that you should know about. And I want to tell one last story. As my colleague from Arizona said, today is the first day of school in Iraq. And we, the United States government, have prepared a school kit with the U.S. emblem on the front. This school kit is a book bag with pens, a calculator, school supplies, all intended for an Iraqi child. The U.S. government delivered 1.5 million of these school kits to the children of Iraq to ensure a good start of the school year. This was a start of the school year which did not include half of Iraqi children. It included 90%. And they got a good start. Each day, Iraqi children, when they open their book bag, will see the U.S. emblem on the front. And that has a powerful message that they will remember who helped them in their earliest years in class. I think this represents some of the best ideals of America. It's showing that we are part of the future of this country. The situation is changing and changing for the better, and I thank my colleague for having this special order.